Two people, same neighborhood, about the same rent. One makes $95,000 a year and lies awake at night staring at the ceiling, wondering how they'll make it to Friday. The other makes $52,000 and sleeps like a baby with a year and a half of savings in the bank. The difference isn't income. It's not luck. It's not some secret inheritance. It's something much simpler and much harder to look at honestly. Today we're opening the closets of both apartments and never looking at money the same way again. Let me take you inside apartment A. This is the person making $95,000. Top 20% earner in most cities. From the outside, they look like they have it all. Walk inside. First thing you notice? A 75-inch TV on the wall. Not because they're a movie buff, because bigger felt better. Under it, a leather couch that cost $4,000. They're paying $200 a month for it for the next 2 years. The kitchen looks like a store exploded in here. Espresso machine, air fryer, stand mixer, most still in their original boxes. Why? Because they bought the idea of cooking, not the reality. Open the closet, clothes falling out. Lots of them still have price tags. A $300 dress worn once, shoes that were on sale, bags that felt necessary at the time. The spare bedroom? It's not a bedroom anymore. It's storage for stuff they haven't touched in years. Christmas decorations from 3 apartments ago. Exercise equipment from a fitness phase that lasted 6 weeks. Boxes of cables for electronics that died when Obama was president. Now check the bank account. Open the app. Stomach drops, $1,200 until next paycheck. Credit cards almost maxed out. Miss 2 paychecks? Disaster. Maybe even 1. Now walk into apartment B. This person makes $52,000, below average in some cities. But look around. Space. Actual space. A normal couch, but it's paid for. A normal size TV, but it's 5 years old and works fine. A kitchen with exactly the stuff they actually use. 1 good knife. 1 good pan. A coffee maker that just makes coffee. The closet? Clothes they actually wear. Everything has a place. No price tags. The spare bedroom is actually a bedroom. For guests. Or yoga. Or just a room. Now check the bank account. Calm confidence. 18 months of expenses saved. Investments growing automatically every month. Credit cards paid off. No stomach drop. No staring at the ceiling at 3 a.m. Same neighborhood. Same rent. The person making almost half as much has nearly 10 times the financial security. This isn't a story about income. It's a story about something deeper. The hidden relationship between stuff and money that most people never, ever understand. The first person isn't bad with money. They don't gamble. They don't have expensive habits. They're not buying Lamborghinis. They just accumulated, slowly, over time, a lifestyle that needs every dollar they make just to keep going. The second person figured something out. They learned that owning less doesn't mean living worse. It means living on purpose. And living on purpose gives you a financial cushion that most high earners never have. Before we go further, I need to give you an idea. A lens. Glasses that will change how you see every purchase for the rest of your life. Ready? Here it is. The first cost is obvious. It's the price tag, the receipt, the money that leaves your account when you swipe your card. But there's a second cost, and most people never calculate it, never think about it, never even know it exists. And here's the scary part. The second cost is often bigger than the first. What's in the second cost? Let me break it down. Storage. Everything you own needs a place to live, and space costs money. Take this treadmill. You paid $800 for it. Great, right? Getting healthy. But look where it lives. It takes up about 20 square feet of your home. In most cities, space costs about $30 to $50 per square foot per year. Do the math. That treadmill is costing you $600 to $1,000 every year in rent. You're paying more to store that treadmill than you would to just join a gym. And be honest, when's the last time you actually used it? The camera can't hear you. Upkeep. Everything breaks. Everything needs cleaning. Everything needs maintenance. That boat in the driveway needs winterizing, needs insurance, needs cleaning. The rule of thumb? Upkeep costs about 10% of the boat's value every year. A $30,000 boat costs $3,000 a year just to own, even if you never take it on the water. That's not a boat. That's a hole in the water you throw money into. Mental energy. This one you can't see, but it's huge. Everything you own takes a little bit of your attention. It needs to be cleaned, organized, worried about, eventually thrown out. Scientists have found that visual clutter raises stress levels and makes it harder for your brain to focus. Your stuff is literally stressing you out, and you don't even notice. So when Marie Kondo tells you to throw out stuff that doesn't spark joy, She's not being fancy. She's being medical. Opportunity cost. This is the big one. Every dollar tied up in stuff is a dollar not invested. That $15,000 home gym could have been $15,000 in the stock market. Over 15 years, with average returns, that's $50,000 or more. You didn't just buy a home gym. You bought a home gym instead of future freedom. Instead of retiring earlier, instead of having choices. When you add up these hidden costs, storage, upkeep, mental energy, opportunity cost, a lot of stuff costs more to own than it costs to buy. The price tag is just the entry fee. The costs keep going as long as you own it. This is what the person in apartment B understands. They're not avoiding stuff because they hate nice things. They're avoiding stuff because they've done the math and decided most things aren't worth it. So how do we actually use this? How do we make choices that lead to apartment B instead of apartment A? Rule number 1, write this down. Figure out the cost per use before you buy anything. Before you buy something, guess how many times you'll realistically use it. Divide the price by that number. That's your cost per use. It's the only honest way to know if something is worth it. Let me show you how this works. You see a jacket for $200. It's cute. You buy it, wear it twice. Then it hangs in the closet for 3 years until you finally give it away. Cost per use? $100 every time you wore it. Your friend buys a jacket for $400. Good quality. Classic style. Fits great. They wear it 200 times over 5 years. Cost per use? $2 per wear. The expensive jacket is actually cheaper. Say that again, slower. The expensive jacket is actually cheaper. This math kills impulse buys instantly. That $300 kitchen gadget you'll use twice a year. $150 per use in the first year. That's a crazy expensive way to do whatever it does. Meanwhile, a $30 tool you use every week costs less than 60 cents per use. Cost per use also shows you what's actually worth buying. A $2,000 mattress, used every night for 10 years. That's 3,650 nights. Cost per use? About 55 cents. For something that affects your health, your energy, your back, every single day. 55 cents a night for better sleep and better health? That's not spending. That's investing in being a human who can function. A $1,500 espresso machine. Used daily for 5 years. Cost per use? Less than $1, and if it replaces $5 coffee shop trips, it's actually saving you money. The math cuts through marketing, emotions, and what other people think. It doesn't care about the brand, doesn't care what your friends think, doesn't care about the fancy packaging or the Instagram ads. The math just cares about one thing. What are you really paying each time you use it for what it does? Rule number 2. This one's for everything you already own. I call it the replacement test. Walk through your home, room by room, drawer by drawer. Look at each thing you own and ask yourself one simple question. Be honest. No one's watching, no one's judging, just you and your stuff. Would you really go out and buy another fondue set? Really? When's the last time you even made fondue? 2017? 2014? Never? Would you replace that bread maker? The one collecting dust in the back of the cabinet? The one you were going to use every weekend? The one that's been there for 3 years and you honestly forgot you owned until right now? Would you buy those clothes again? The ones you haven't worn in 18 months? The ones in the back of the closet? The ones you keep just in case? Just in case of what? A themed party from 2019? Spoiler alert, the Great Gatsby party is not coming back. Let the flapper dress go. For most things in most homes, the honest answer is no. You would not replace them. They're in your life because of habit, not because you want them. They were impulse buys, gifts you felt bad throwing out, leftovers from hobbies you don't do anymore. Things that seemed like a good idea at the time, but now just sit there. Think about that. They're not neutral. They're negative. They cost you space, cost you mental energy, cost you time to clean around, without giving you anything back. Every hour you spend organizing, cleaning around, or even just thinking about things you wouldn't replace, that's an hour stolen from things that actually matter, from time with family, from hobbies you actually enjoy, from rest. People who live simply get rid of things that fail the replacement test. They sell what has value, give away what someone else could use, throw out what helps no one. At first it feels weird. There's anxiety about letting go. What if I need it someday? What if I regret it? What if? Newsflash, you won't need it. You haven't needed it for years. And if by some miracle you do, you can borrow one, rent one, or buy another one for less than the cost of storing it for 10 years. Once you get through the weird feeling, something changes. Freedom. The weight of owning stuff you don't want or need is real. Taking that weight off creates space in your head that's hard to describe, but you feel it right away. Rooms feel bigger. Decisions feel simpler. Cleaning takes half the time. You know where everything is because everything left has a purpose. Rule number 3. This one catches almost everyone with a decent income. Don't upgrade just because you're bored. I see this pattern all the time with people who make good money but have nothing to show for it. They upgrade perfectly good things simply because they're bored with them, or because new stuff came out. Their TV works fine. Picture is fine. Sound is fine. But the new one has slightly better contrast. Slightly darker blacks. So they upgrade. $1,500 later, they have the same TV with slightly different pixels. Their TV works fine. Picture is fine. Sound is fine. But the new one has slightly better contrast. Slightly darker blacks. So they upgrade. $1,500 later, they have the same TV with slightly different pixels. Their car runs fine, starts every morning. Gets them where they need to go, but the new model has a different look. Cooler headlights, bigger screen, so they upgrade. $500 more per month for the next 6 years. Their furniture works. Couch is comfortable. Table is sturdy, but they're tired of looking at it, so they buy new stuff. The old stuff? Landfill. Or a donation that's really just someone else's storage problem. Upgrading because you're bored feels like progress, feels like improvement, feels like you're moving forward. But here's the truth. It's destroying your wealth while pretending to make your life better. People who live simply have a simple rule. Never replace something that still works. The phone that makes calls, sends messages, and runs apps does not need replacing because a newer phone exists. It needs to be used until it breaks. The car that gets you where you need to go does not need replacing because your neighbor got something shinier. It needs to be driven until the wheels fall off. The TV that shows your shows does not need replacing because the store has a bigger one. It needs to be watched. Let's put numbers on this. The average person replaces their phone every 2 to 3 years, often when the old one still works fine. Over 30 years of adult life, that pattern costs $30,000 to $50,000 on stuff you didn't need. Now add that up across everything. Cars, computers, TVS appliances, furniture, clothes. $200,000. Gone. Not on better experiences. Not on things that actually matter. Just on having the slightly newer version of things that worked fine already. People who live simply escape this trap by being clear about what works means. Something still works until it actually stops doing its job. Being bored is not a reason. Wanting something new is not a reason. The fact that a newer thing exists is not a reason. Something actually breaking? That's a reason. Not being able to do what you need it to do? That's a reason. Everything else is just marketing convincing you to fix problems you don't have. Rule 4 is about your environment. About setting up your life so the right choice is also the easy choice. Make spending hard. Make saving easy. People do what's easiest. Every single time. If spending is easy and saving is hard, you'll spend. If saving is easy and spending is hard, you'll save. Making spending hard looks like taking your credit card numbers off online stores, waiting 24 hours before you buy anything that's not necessary, deleting shopping apps from your phone, unsubscribing from emails trying to sell you stuff, not going to stores unless you need something specific. Making saving easy looks like setting up automatic transfers to savings on payday, keeping only a little bit in your checking account, having savings come out before you even see the money, treating savings like a bill you have to pay. Pay yourself first isn't just a cute phrase, it's a trick. If the money's gone before you see it, you can't spend it. These changes matter more than willpower, way more. Willpower runs out during the day. You start strong in the morning, but by 8 p.m. after a long day, after stress, after making 100 decisions, your willpower is gone. That's when you buy stuff you don't need. That's when you click buy on something stupid. Your environment doesn't run out. It doesn't get tired. It doesn't get stressed. It just is. Someone trying to use willpower to avoid impulse buys will eventually fail. Probably tonight, after a hard day, when they're scrolling on their phone in bed. Someone who deleted the shopping apps and took their credit cards off the internet, they literally can't impulse buy in that moment. It's too hard. The easy path leads away from spending. Try it. Next time you want to buy something you don't need, wait 24 hours. Put it in your cart, close your laptop, come back tomorrow. Most urges to buy things go away in a day if you don't act on them right away. The feeling passes, the urgency disappears, and you still have the money you would have spent on something you didn't really want. Rule 5 sounds crazy, I know, but stay with me. Count your stuff sometimes. I'm not saying count every paperclip. I'm saying pick some types of things. Count how many you own. Write it down. The numbers will shock you. They shock everyone who's never actually looked at how much they own. How many shirts do you own? Most people guess low. 20? 30? Then they actually count. 60? 80? 112. How many kitchen gadgets? Open the drawers. The garlic press. The avocado slicer. The mandolin you're scared to use. 3 different kinds of peelers. The thing that cuts apples into spirals for some reason. Why do you own an apple spiralizer? When was the last time you needed an apple spiral? Never. The answer is never. How many pairs of shoes? Count them, all of them. The boots, the sneakers, the dress shoes you wear twice a year, the flip-flops from 4 vacations ago, the running shoes you bought when you were going to start running. How many things are in your junk drawer? You know the one. The drawer full of random stuff that has no home. Old keys, takeout menus, batteries that might be dead, cables for things you don't own anymore. How many books will you never read again? The ones you keep because they look smart on the shelf. The ones you finished and will never open again. The ones you started and never finished but feel guilty about. Here's the magic. Once you know you own 47 shirts, buying another one feels different. You're not adding a shirt. You're making your collection 48. You can see how silly it is. People who live simply keep track of certain things over time. They set limits. Maybe 30 pieces of clothing total. Maybe 15 books at a time. Maybe a rule that if you buy something new, something old has to go. These limits stop you from slowly getting more and more stuff. Without limits, your stuff grows to fill all the space you have. With limits, every new thing means you have to choose what it's replacing. That little bit of friction cuts way down on buying. You think twice before buying when you know something has to leave. Rule 6 is about trying things out before you commit. Rent or borrow before you buy. Look at what people own. Most things get used a lot for a short time, then almost never again. The excitement wears off. The initial energy fades. The thing becomes part of the collection of stuff you own but rarely touch. Think about it. Ski stuff from the winter you thought you'd become a skier. Camera gear from the phase when you thought you'd be a photographer. Instruments from the band that played 2 shows. Camping gear from the one trip you took in 2019. America's closets and garages are museums of things we thought we'd become. People who live simply try things out by renting or borrowing before they buy. Want to get into camping? Rent gear for the first few trips. See if you actually like sleeping on the ground in the cold before you spend $2,000 on equipment. Want to try woodworking? Borrow tools from a friend or use a workshop space. See if you actually like sawdust and sanding before you set up a whole workshop. Want a kayak? Rent a few times. Different kinds, different places. See if kayaking is really your thing or if you just like the idea of kayaking. Spoiler, most hobbies are better in your head than in real life. Find that out while renting, not while owning. This does 2 things. First, it shows you if your interest is real or just a phase. Lots of interests fade after you try them. Better to learn that while renting than after buying stuff that will collect dust forever. Second, it shows you exactly what you need. People trying something for the first time often buy too much or buy the wrong things. They show up at the store and walk out with everything. Then they learn half of it was useless and the other half was the wrong kind. Renting lets you learn before you buy. You find out what actually matters, what features you need, what you can do without. When you finally buy, you get exactly what you need instead of guessing. Rule 7 is about seeing everything that comes with a purchase. Understand the ripple effect. Everything you own connects to other things. One buy starts a chain of more buys. This is the ripple effect. Watch how this works. A boat needs a trailer. A trailer needs a truck that can pull it. The truck might need to be bigger to tow it. Then you need a place to store the boat. Insurance, registration, safety stuff, life jackets, flares, cleaning supplies, winter storage, summer prep, boat clothes, boat shoes, boat sunglasses so they don't fall in the water. The boat costs $30,000. Everything around the boat? Another $15,000 easily, and you keep paying every year. A home gym needs flooring, mirrors, storage, good airflow. Often you need to change the room to make it work, plus the mental cost of looking at it every day and feeling guilty for not using it. A pool needs chemicals, cleaning tools, covers, furniture, maintenance gear. Often you need to fix up the yard around it, higher insurance, higher electric bills for pumps and heaters. The pool isn't just the pool. The pool is a whole world of other stuff with its own costs. People who live simply think about all these costs before any big buy. They know that something that costs $5,000 might really cost $8,000 or $12,000 when you add everything else. Looking at the full picture often turns what seemed like a good buy into something clearly too expensive. The ripple effect also works in reverse. This is the good part. Get rid of one big thing, and you get rid of a whole bunch of other costs. Sell the boat, and you have no more storage fees, no more insurance, no more registration, no more upkeep, no more special clothes. The savings are way more than just the price of the thing. You're not just getting rid of one thing, you're getting rid of a whole web of costs that came with it. Here's what no one tells you about living with less in money. It works both ways. Owning less saves you money. That's clear now. Less spending, less upkeep, less ripple effect, less waste. But here's the part that surprised me. Having more money also makes owning less feel natural. When your savings are growing, when your investments are doing well, when you actually have a cushion, the urge to buy stuff goes down. The need that drives most buying, the need to feel safe, to feel important, to feel successful, gets met by having money, not by having things. You don't need the stuff to feel good about yourself because your bank account already tells you what you want to know. People stuck in the buying cycle often can't explain why they buy so much. The truth is usually that buying stuff fills a hole that not having money creates. Fill the hole with actual savings, and the need to buy stuff often just goes away on its own. This creates a good cycle. Spending less means saving more. Saving more means feeling safe. Feeling safe means you don't need to buy stuff. Buying less means you save even more. Every time around the circle makes the next time easier. The bad cycle works the same way, but in the opposite direction. Spending everything makes you feel unsafe. Feeling unsafe makes you buy stuff for relief. Buying stuff makes you feel worse. The cycle keeps going until something forces it to stop. Which cycle you're in matters more than how much money you make. High earners in the bad cycle end up with nothing. Regular earners in the good cycle build real wealth. The 2 apartments I showed you at the start, they're real. They're everywhere, in every city, at every income level. The person making $95,000 with the knot in their stomach, they have a choice. They can keep buying, keep upgrading, keep adding more stuff, or they can stop. Look around, ask the hard questions. The person making $52,000 with a year and a half of savings, they didn't get there by making a ton of money. They got there by being really clear about what actually matters. Both lives are open to you, no matter what you make now. No matter how full your closets are, the choice is simple. Do you want to own your stuff, or do you want your stuff to own you? The rules I've talked about aren't about being miserable or doing without. They're about seeing that most of what we buy doesn't actually make us happier. Study after study shows that once you have enough to be safe and comfortable, more stuff doesn't help much. But most people spend like happiness goes up every time they buy something. People who live simply match how they act with what's really true. They spend enough to be comfortable. Then they put the rest toward freedom instead of more stuff. They end up with less stuff and more life. Here's what to do this week. Walk through your home. Use the replacement test. Find 10 things you would not buy again if they disappeared. Sell them. Give them away. Throw them out. Feel the space. Feel the weight come off. Notice how it feels to get rid of things you don't really want. Then take whatever money you got from selling, or just the money you didn't spend this week, and put it somewhere you won't touch it. Start building your own version of Apartment B. If this video made you think differently about your stuff, hit the like button. It helps more people find this and maybe break out of their own trap. And subscribe if you want more videos about the real side of money, not the get-rich-quick fantasy. The real stuff that actually works. Now, leave a comment. I want to know. What's one thing in your home that would fail the replacement test? Is it that kitchen gadget? The clothes you never wear? The exercise equipment holding your laundry? The hobby stuff from a phase that's over? Be honest, be specific. Let's fill the comments with stories. Maybe even help someone else who needs to hear it's okay to let go. I read them. I'll be in the comments. Let's figure this out together. Thanks for watching. Less stuff, more life. See you in the next one.